One of the most powerful marketing books I have ever read is called The Blue Ocean Strategy. And if you haven't heard of this idea before, let me give you the Cliff Notes version. You see, according to the authors, a blue ocean strategy involves creating new, uncontested market space by innovating and offering unique value, which makes competition irrelevant. In contrast, a red ocean strategy refers to competing in existing, crowded markets where businesses fight for the same customers using similar tactics, often leading to price wars and low margins. And in this video, I'm going to share 5 blue ocean strategies that have been told to me on the Virginia's for Realtors podcast, and a bonus one that I created at the end. Now, if you're not a subscriber, no worries. Just search for Virginia is for Realtors wherever you get your podcasts. And now, the top 5 blue ocean strategies I've heard on the show.
I'll give you a couple of tips. So number one, with the personal experience, I was at a conference earlier this year, a real estate conference, and I heard an agent on stage talking about happy birthday videos on Facebook. So every day, log into Facebook, it tells you, who has a birthday today. She would just pull out her phone in her DMs and just send a, hey, Tanner, hope you're doing well. Haven't spoken with you in a while. Happy birthday, right? Something
nice. Yeah.
So I said, all right, man, it's out of my comfort zone, but I'm going to try it. And sure enough, the very first birthday that popped up was an Old Navy buddy of mine that I hadn't spoken to in 12 years, 10 plus years at least. And it's like, great. Now, how do I broach this subject? Right.
Hope you're still alive.
So this is the tip that follows it. Embrace it. Like when you make these contacts, humility, make fun of yourself. Hey, Tanner, dude, I'm really sorry. It's been 10 years. My bad. Like, ha, 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 LOL, right? Like, make a joke of it. So that's exactly what happened. I reached out to this guy. I said, hey, Greg, hope all is well. I see the family looks great. The kids are growing. I know it's been like 10 or 12 years since we spoke, but I just wanted to say happy birthday, man. Hope all is well. I kid you not, 24 hours later, he messaged me back and said, Andy, oh my God, thank you so much. I've been thinking about you. My wife and I are currently in California and we want to move back to Virginia. In May, they closed on an $825,000 house.
Holy cow.
I had tons of people write an offer and they put an expiration date, right? That just pisses sellers off. They feel like they've been bullied. And then if you're the agent, you're like, okay, you really don't want to buy this house after 7 p.m. tonight.
Right. I'm walking away. 7:01. Really? If it's 6:59, I would have, but now it's 7:01, so I'm not.
You just literally killed the deal. I had an agent recently. She killed it, expired it, and then had the gumption to come back to me after that and asked me to submit a whole new offer. And what would it take to win? And I'm like, you literally just killed your offer. Like, what are you talking about? Anyways, what I learned from her at an event was instead you go forward with your absolute best offer. And you're like, this is my best and final at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. The price is going to drop and you're instead going to get an escalation clause. Because now, and I did it the very first time, the seller's like, oh, that's genius. I see exactly what she did. Because now it's the only reason they're waiting out. If you do an escalation, you're literally pushing the other, you're making them wait for other offers to push your price up, right? You're incentivizing them to wait. If you put an offer with an escalation, you are incentivizing them to wait for other offers.
Interesting. Okay.
If you instead are like, I will give you $750,000 if you take my offer by tomorrow. If you don't take my offer by tomorrow, the price is going to drop back down to the list price of $700, and now you're going to get an escalation clause. So you're going to have to wait. So the seller has to gamble. Well, oh shoot, like I know what I could have.
Yeah.
And one of the first times I did it, the seller, I happen to know that house did not show as well in person as it did online because I toured it, and they were getting all these tours, and I'm like, they got a false hope. I know what's going to happen here. And the owner was like, dang, that was genius. I see what she did, but we're going to play the gamble. My client ended up getting that house for significantly less than we were going to because they waited.
Is that a special addendum that you put in as part of the contract then? Okay.
It literally just says, in the event this offer is not ratified by 7 p.m. tomorrow, whatever you pick, usually like 24 hours. And you got to be fast out of the gate. It has to be this thing just listed. You're trying to shut it down before an open house happens or more offers come in. Once you get another offer on the table, you've lost that card. You can't play it anymore.
The other way that you can assume a loan is where the seller leaves their benefits, leaves their entitlement with the home. And what's cool about that is it offers up, one, a lot greater pool of potential buyers, because now non-veterans can assume a VA loan.
Right.
Because remember, just the VA only cares as long as some veteran's entitlement is left with the property. It doesn't matter whose it is. But the other really cool thing is whenever a seller leaves their VA benefits with that property, that home can now be purchased as an investment property. So now it can be a rental property, rented out from day one. There's no owner occupancy mandate with that.
Wow.
So I have a lot of investors who contact me who are looking to buy investment homes, and I immediately go into assumis.com. I log in, I search their area, and I check off FHA, and I leave the VA filter. Now I can see all VA homes, and I just contact the sellers and find out, who's willing to leave their entitlement. We're going to talk through that next. But the point is that you can use a VA assumption as an investment property, and just think of how much easier it is to cash flow a rental property when you have a 2.75% interest rate versus taking out a loan at 6.5 or 7. I mean, it cash flows, just the numbers are so much more powerful, right?
For sure.
So investors are all over this too. So as an agent, you really want to find opportunities for clients, like go out, talk to all your investors and show them that this is now, this is possible. And you see how quickly you can find new business, right? Now it's just a matter of how quickly can you find the homes to buy. It's not how, it's not my problem in my real estate career is not leads. I have more leads and more buyers coming into my ears than I know what to do with. I mean, I hand them out. It's really like, how many can I get under contract as fast as I can sell, right? That's what Assumist allows you to do. It's just,
now, when you talk about reaching out to agents across the country, let's talk about kind of your game plan of how you do that. How are you identifying people you'd like to work with? How are you getting in front of them? How's that conversation go? How do you nurture that relationship?
So I would say, keep in mind, I'm figuring out my niche. Like I'm finally like, oh, this is my thing. Building relationships with other realtors is my thing. I like doing this day in and day out. Well, then COVID happens and the whole world shuts down. And I just went to an event, and I got all these contacts. I got all these business cards. And it was right before COVID happened. And so I'm sending out personal messages, right? Like I'm getting their business card, and I'm like, I met this one lady in the bathroom, and she was dressed from head to toe in white. And she was just the most beautiful lady I've ever seen. I was like, so I called her the lady in white because she was covered in white. Okay. Like the white hat, everything. And down to like the most cleanest white stilettos you'll ever see.
Okay.
And I was like, so I called her the lady in white. And so then I had reached out to her personally. I was like, hey, I don't know if you remember me. We were in the bathroom, blah, blah, blah. She sent me business, guys. Like I met a lady waiting in line to use the women's restroom, took her business card, made a little note about her so that when I contacted her afterwards, I could have that personal interaction, because she's meeting how many agents at this event? She's not going to remember me. And so every time I'd get a business card, I would make a note of something about them that I noticed, like pretty floral dress, or, it doesn't have to be about their clothing. It could be, hey, we had a great conversation about your dog. I don't know. And so what I did is I took all of this and I started putting it, and that's kind of where it all connected for me. I was like, I have all of this now. And instead of throwing it in my drawer in the trash can, let me do something with it. So I sent out emails, text messages, and phone calls, put them all in my database, and started working this entire agent-to-agent referral program. Well, then COVID happened when I was ready to go to like the next event. And I'm like, well, I can't just stop at these 500 agents, right, that I've connected with. Well, how else can I do this? And so there's different systems you can go to. You can use Facebook, Instagram, wherever. But all I did is I would go on social media, or we have a different platform I can use to look at, and I can pull up agents. And I don't care about your production. What I care, or how many years you've been in the business. I am a pretty good judge of character. So I can pick up the phone and be like, oh, Tanner, awesome. And see how the conversation goes. Like I can tell really quickly if you genuinely care about the people you're working with.
Right.
And that's important to me too. I don't want to refer business to you if you're not going to take care of them. Like,
right. Is this a transaction, or are you going to take care of my clients and as if maybe not as good as I am, a good representation of me? Exactly.
And so keep in mind, that's important to me. So what I started doing was doing my research on every person, and I would look at them on social media. I would look at their production. I'd look at like what I could find, make sure, there's somebody I wanted in my world. Yeah. And then what I would do is I would call and I'd say, hey, Tanner, how's it going? And hey, great, this is Jessica Lucas. I service Hampton Roads, Virginia. I saw your real estate agent. Was curious, can you tell me a little bit about your business? I'm looking to build my agent referral network. And you'd find yourself sometimes on a conversation with some of these people for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And yes, I got business from that. And
let's talk about your journey. So you know personally, like, okay, I can do this. And when you talk about the first video and you look back and you cringe, but probably, I bet if we watched it right now, I'd be like, yeah, it's a good video, but it's not
Please
like.
do not cue it up.
Yeah,
I'm going to delete
hold
it off YouTube right now to make sure. No, so I did the thing that every realtor does. I made the wrong types of videos. The first one I made was, what are closing costs, or closing cost explained. There are 1 billion of those videos out there. Mine is not anywhere close to the best. So it got like 40 views. So for the first 3-4 months, I'm making these educational videos that nobody cares about. No viewership, nothing. And so I'm a little discouraged, but I'm like, I'm still doubling down. I believe it's going to work. So I'm just going to keep putting in the reps. Also, right when I quit pharmacy, I called a top producer that I knew. And I was like, hey man, I just quit my full-time W-2 job to go all in on this. How do I become you? And he was nice enough to answer. And he goes, first, I'm impressed that you even called. Most people won't even take the time to call and ask that simple of a question. And he pointed me to an online sales class, Joshua Smith. It was like $2,000. I took it. It was pretty good. It wasn't the best fit for my personality, but it taught me a ton about open houses. And from that point on, every time I held an open house, I picked up 1 or 2 buyers. It's like, people are talking about open houses don't work. No, you're just doing them wrong. That class taught me how to do it. And that carried us through until YouTube really got cranking. The rest of the class was okay. It wasn't my personality. It was more like the cold call, dial for dollars, pound the pavement, CRM. And I'm like, that's not me. But the open house info was brilliant. But I started listening to his podcast. There was one episode, and again, this is 3-4 months in of YouTube. Nothing's really taken traction. I am begging on Facebook, please subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel. Get me to 100 subscribers. I'm doing a raffle card giveaway, right? I'm begging people to subscribe to watch my
I totally do that. Yeah.
Yes. And I forgot where I was going with that. Sorry. Open houses, YouTube. Oh, I'm listening to his podcast, and he has this other realtor that was relatively new, that had been an agent for maybe 2-3 years, but started a YouTube channel, and now he's doing 30 deals a year from YouTube. And he said everything that he started doing was what I was doing. He was like, and it was all wrong. It finally clicked when I realized I'm making the wrong types of videos. And so he suggested like making the pros and cons of wherever you live, the best neighborhoods of wherever you live. And once he said that, that's immediately what I did. The next video I made was pros and cons of living in Richmond. And that was probably March. I remember it was March or April of I want to say 2020. It might have been 2021. I think it was 2021. March or April of 2021 was our pros and cons. And then I started doing the best neighborhoods in Short Pump, the best neighborhoods in Midlothian. Probably 3 weeks later, we got our first YouTube lead. And like, I remember I woke up, it was in an email.
Oh, man.
I showed my wife Sarah, and I was like, ha, I told you it's going to work. They were in Germany. They lived in Germany. They were American military, and they reached out to us because they were being relocated to Richmond and they need to buy a home. And
wow,
$700,000 buyer. And I was like, I just made a $700,000 buyer appear out of thin air. And Sarah looked at me. She's like, I can't believe it. And kind of like then the rest is just history. It's just been explosive since then.
Another beautiful day. Aw, man, I like the Johnsons. Why didn't they use me? Oh well. So are you tired of seeing signs going up in your neighborhood that aren't yours? Not sure how to stay in front of your neighbors and show them your real estate expertise? What if I told you there was a way to accomplish this in 15 minutes a month and it doesn't cost you anything but some time? Hey everybody, my name is Tanner Mulvihill. I'm the host of the podcast Virginia is for Realtors and the owner of Bayfield Home Loans in Chesapeake. I've been a top producing loan officer for over 21 years with many happy clients, just like you have, but my true ability is not how well I do 30-year fixed mortgages. It's how I help my real estate partners. You see, I think the partnership between a realtor and a loan officer should be a two-way street. And that's why I focus on creative ways to help my partners grow their business. Okay, so back to the issue at hand. We need you to become the neighborhood expert, and here's how we're going to do it. Assuming you live in a neighborhood, you most likely have a neighborhood Facebook group. If you don't yet, make one. And while we don't know who is thinking about buying or selling at any given time, we can assume that pretty much everybody in your neighborhood, except the Johnsons, care about the value of their homes. And that's where you and I come in. Once a month, we would do a video where we talk about the properties that sold the previous month, the homes that might currently be on the market that catch your eye, and your overall impressions of the real estate market for your neighborhood. The best part, we have content every single month, and we don't even need to think about it. So what are you waiting for? Shoot me a DM or give me a call, and maybe you'll be the next agent that sends me a text like this, or this one. How about that one right there? Or maybe this one. I hope this video brought a smile to your face, and I hope you take this opportunity to reach out to me so we can start helping you become your neighborhood expert. Take care. Really, Peggy? I bought 12 boxes of Girl Scout cookies last year. Come on.